Welcome back, everybody, to Get More with Gilmore. Today, we have the honor of sitting down with Dr. Clay Carmichael, a man that has been very influential in the young folks of our community, and he's also a esteemed member of our society. And it's an honor to sit down and talk to you about your life, sir.
All right. Hey, thank you, Mr. Gilmore, and thank you for the whole community that's watching this video. I will tell you, Mr. Gilmore, I met him at the beginning of the year when I jumped on board and was teaching at the classical school here in Lincolnville. And Mr. Gilmore has always been here and is always volunteering, always behind the scenes. So he may say I'm an esteemed member of this community, but I will tell you right now, Mr. Gilmore has a fantastic family. I have his daughter in my class, and she's absolutely great. And
Thank you.
Mr. Gilmore volunteers and certainly doesn't want the light cast on him. So I appreciate your humility and contributing to our community.
Thank you, sir. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
Okay. Well, that can be a story. And people that know me know that I have stories. My name is Clay Carmichael. I come from the panhandle, a little town called Chattahoochee. And some of you have heard the song. It's really regarding the river. It's where Georgia, Florida, and Alabama meet. You stared across the lake, you could see Alabama. And the house was located in Florida. The farm straddled really the Florida-Georgia line. My dad had a small farm. And he was a hospital administrator. My mom was the nursing director at Florida State Hospital. Again, it was two red light town, a very small community. And of course, I was on a farm, so we had a cow-calf operation. And basically what cow-calf operation means, we grow the corn, feed the corn to the cattle, sell the cattle. What corn we could not feed or store, we would turn around and sell that. So small cow-calf, very small cow-calf operation. And again, my dad was a hospital administrator and my mom a nursing director. I was a science guy. I always considered myself to be a science geek, but at the same time, I was also an athlete, not a good one.
I'm sure.
But I love to play, and I love being part of a team. Team is really the key to life. So I was a football and baseball player. Loved being on the team, loved being part of the community, and whether I was doing a science fair or walking out onto the baseball field and football field. So that was me, and enjoyed school. You'll always hear me say I loved the All-American high school experience. We all think back to all the high school movies and all our own high school experiences. And some of us say high school was great. Some of us say high school was horrible. I will tell you what the great parts and the horrible parts all make us who we are.
Sure.
And I love to be able to, or love to continue to be part of that. For instance, with your daughter, being part of her All-American high school experience, from going and digging around in the marsh and the mud to being here in school in the classroom and kind of doing the same thing you did, learning about tangents on rockets launching and learning about coiled cephalopods and nematodes. I just love all that stuff.
That's awesome. And we're honored to have had you as a teacher for my daughter. I know that you have sparked an interest and a fire in her, and it's really caught on. And especially with my younger daughter, she hears the stories and she sees the pictures of the things you guys are involved with, and it really encourages her to be more involved and get out there in nature. So it's awesome, and we value that and appreciate it very much.
You're welcome, but I'll tell you, just as with my own family, I have my wife Bridget. I have the oldest daughter, Rosie, who's going into the Naval Academy, and we may get on that a little later. And my youngest daughter, Bridie, I will tell you, there's a lot of joy that comes from them, but they give more to me than what I give to them. I can guarantee you. The same thing within the schools. I walk in here, there's actually a legal term in loco parentis, and I really embrace that, not just from a legal term, but when the students are in my classroom, I really think of being in loco parentis, having a deep level of commitment, and really just enjoying them, having fun with them, and both their triumphs and their failures, because we all have them. Sure. And again, that's what makes us. So I love being here. I love you sharing your family with me.
Absolutely. You mentioned University of Florida. How did you pick that?
Okay. Well, I applied to 3 universities out of high school. I applied to Auburn, University of South Florida, and I did some time at Chipola Junior College, just some time, and I applied also to University of Florida, so University of South Florida, Auburn, University of Florida. I applied for a scholarship, and I don't even know if it's around still, and I won't call the name of the company that provides the scholarship, but basically it was in entomology. And if I majored in entomology one semester, uh, I got a full ride scholarship to the University of Florida. So I majored in it one semester, really learned a lot. And if you don't know, entomology is the study of bugs. Learned a lot about it, but then I took off and went back to agriculture. So I specialized in animal science. I majored in agriculture, and I also had a specialization in education. So that's what led me to
Very
education.
broad.
Yeah, yes, sir, very broad. Um, and so, anyway, it was a great experience over at the University of Florida. I went to graduate school. If you want me to continue, I went to
Absolutely.
graduate school at Valdosta State University. Wanted somewhere a little smaller. University of Florida, I was a little shell shocked, as one might imagine, going from such a small town to there. Went to teach, taught a couple of years over west of here, and then went back to Valdosta State University and majored in administration and got a minor in secondary science, what they call an add-on master's degree in secondary science.
Let me interrupt you there. What triggered your desire to be a teacher? I mean, you sound like you're coming from a background that was all science, very in nature, out there doing a lot of stuff involved with it, from the roots all the way up to the animals. What triggered the teaching aspect of it?
I think sharing, I know it is. Sharing and being a part. And when you're in a classroom, we all kind of get, all right, you're going to teach the nitrogen fixation or carbon fixation. I know it's wild and crazy subject, but you're going to teach that. Or you're going to teach about nematodes and coiled cephalopods, or you're going to teach about how to figure the tangent and the height that a rocket reaches, any of that. A lot of people get that the teacher shares and the students absorb it, and there is a satisfaction out of the students getting the information. But there's some unnamed satisfactions too. One of those satisfactions is just being part of a team. Within the classroom, and those of you who have gone through school, and especially if you've been with a cohort of students in your own educational experience, you're going through school and you develop that relationship with the other students in your classroom. So to me, I develop a relationship almost like a parent relationship. Not that I'm trying to be anyone else's parent, but I really enjoy, and you get to have that open, honest, you know, relationship with the students. You're able to have failures in front of the classroom and laugh about yourself when you do have the failures. You're able to have victories in front of the classroom, and you love those victories. Students do the same thing. They have their victories within the classroom, both personally and academically. Socially, I guess is a better word than personally. So I just enjoy being part of that. And again, I go back to that one term, that all-American high school experience. I've taught overseas, and it was a wonderful experience there, and I was able to get a lot of that. But there is nothing like being here.
Let's dive into that a little bit. You say you taught overseas. Where at?
Yes, sir. I taught in China, and I taught for a summer, and I've traveled over here 3 or 4 times, so I've been there quite a bit. I taught English. So I always joke with people, if you run across a Chinese person that has a Southern accent, it was probably me that taught them. No, they didn't pick up that. So anyway,
that's a good one.
I taught over there. Now, believe it or not, no matter what you might believe regarding teaching overseas, teenagers are teenagers. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter. Europe, I visited some schools in Europe. I've taught in China. And so anyway, teenagers are teenagers. And again, you can get all of those relationships and all of that satisfaction of teaching and being part of a team. But I will tell you, the good old USA has a unique approach to education. And I do love that. here at this classical school I'm now at. And I really tell people a lot of times college prep school,
Sure.
career prep school, and a spiritual prep school. I tell people all the time it is very unique, and they are teenagers and American Graffiti, and we love it.
That's awesome. Now, being a parent with kids that are in elementary school, middle school, and high school, it's awesome to hear a teacher say that about the American education system. Because a lot of times you hear the opposite about how we're falling behind, or how Asian, especially Asian students, are so much further ahead than our kids are. But I know having a teacher like you that sparks that for them is essential to that. So that's awesome to hear that you have that mindset about it, and it's evident in your teaching approach. And as a parent, I get to hear the stories when my kids come home and they tell me about the things they learn about in class, and things you guys are doing, and going out and, like you said, digging in the marsh to shooting rockets. I mean, that's the stuff every kid dreams of, and you're bringing it to them. So
Yes, sir.
it's awesome to hear.
I do. I love doing that kind of stuff, and I love sharing the excitement. I probably, for instance, at the beginning of the year, beginning of 2024, we dissected a shark. And the other thing you miss too is when you go out there with the students, and probably in my lifetime I've dissected, cleaned, thousands of fish, and but to sharing the excitement, some of those students for the very first time
Sure.
are doing a dissection, not just to, okay, we're cleaning the fish in order to eat him, but we're dissecting a pretty good sized shark in order to study its parts and really have appreciation for nature and what the God Almighty has given us.
Awesome. Absolutely. You mentioned University of Florida again. Are you a Gator fan?
I am. Go Gators.
Go Gator. Gator Nation.
Yes,
Awesome.
sir.
Who's your favorite Gator athlete?
I would have to say Tim Tebow. And but there are some others from other sports than just football. I'm a football guy. Um,
I know you've had some history of not only teaching high school in other countries and in America as well, but have you ever taught with special needs?
yes, sir. At this time, and actually, I'm teaching collegiate level diverse learners. I do have a special place in my heart for diverse learners, those students that are special needs, whether they're physical handicaps, uh, mental handicaps, academic handicaps. Um, you know, a lot of times we way underestimate them. Sometimes I even think they're angels put on this earth to show us how we should live. If you've really been around a connected ESE classroom, a teacher who really connects with that ESE student, that exceptional student education, when I say ESE, the special needs, there's a special mojo that goes on amongst those special needs students. Don't underestimate them. Sometimes they might not be able to, or they might be able to do all the academic stuff within the classroom, all the academic criteria, but they have feelings. Um, they have strong emotional connections with others, and again, I really believe in my heart there are many of them put on this earth to show us how we should be living, to appreciate what we have. Um, I always go into, I've never bought anything that's made me happy. I can't tell you a single time. Now, I've had experiences with my family and with the students within the school and so forth that has made me happy. Never bought anything that has made me happy. Exceptional student education, I've got a number of stories, and we'll just call it Chris. Chris is one student, comes in, and he is just happy to be with you.
Yeah.
He never said, I love you and that sort of thing, but he always turn around, and there's a favorite book of mine that I've read to a number of classes, but he would always say, I'm happy, so incredibly happy to be here with you. And when he said that, there was a theme within him that I love you. I love being here with you, and I love my experience. I love my day.
Sure.
So there's a lot to be learned from those special needs students.
In your career, I know you moved from the classroom up to the administrative level. What's brought that on? What spurred that to happen?
Okay. There are several factors. I do have, I feel as if I have a natural leadership knack. And when you say leadership, it doesn't necessarily mean control. Leadership and control aren't the same thing. So I do have a leadership knack within me, thread within me. But then also, I like the connection. You know, when you're in one classroom throughout the day, you would have probably a connection with 100 students, 150 students. When I went outside of the classroom, dean of students, assistant principal, principal, I had a connection with lots of students and lots of families, and families that were celebrating victories and you know, having a fantastic events occurring within their lives. And then you also had families that were experiencing those rough spots,
Sure.
you know, and as everyone will tell you, there will be great times in your life, but then there will also be dark moments.
Sure.
And helping folks and being just, maybe you're not helping them, maybe you're just there with them through those dark experiences is and watching them come out the other side is thrilling. Um, and then of course celebrating with those victories that's thrilling too. So I really got a charge out of doing that, being part of that. And then as a school leader in the administrative part, I really got a chance to uh, have more effect with teachers, students, families. And I just really love that broader connection. And again, anyone that I've worked with, I won't say work for, anyone that has worked with me will tell you I'm not a control freak. So there was never this overriding to tell people what to do. Now I love facilitating a team,
Sure.
being part of a team, solving problems with a team. And also I kind of saw that. And I consider myself to be a relatively average person.
No, come on now.
Yeah,
No,
relatively,
sir. Just in
but
this interview alone, I can tell you, you're not an average person. That's
I really do. I know everyone feels it, but I really do feel as if I'm average. But I will tell you, when I'm with a team, whether we're solving a hurricane shelter issue, solving what curriculum to purchase for the school, um, solving bus routes, solving parent pickup routes, all those kind of, from the smallest issues, what kind of cleaner do we buy during the COVID, you know, all of those issues that
Sure.
pop up.
Sure.
No matter what the issue is, being part of a team and really working through a problem with a team, I feel like a genius then.
Sure.
When I'm in the room with a team of people that we're all working on the same, so there's a lot of fulfillment. I feel like a genius.
Sure. I know you've probably seen some pretty interesting things. We'll leave it at that. Um, and I know when you're looking at society and you see those things come across the news, what's your first instinct when you see something terrible that happens at a school and you're in that position as a principal? What is that okay to ask, or do you want to go there? Do you want to
Oh
go?
no, no. And we all know the schools have their tragedies and they have their triumphs. They just do. And there are events, whether it was any school that I've been at, or if this is a school and I still have close personal friends that are all principals and administrators at all the levels. There are those tragedies, and there's no right answer to those. Schools are a microcosm of society. Um, I will tell you, in the current school that I'm in is a little smaller, so we can, there, the ability to have a smaller environment um, really makes it easier to manage. And that's probably too light of word to say. When you get to schools that are 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 students, you really absorb more of the issues from within the society, or
Sure.
that are located in the society. So um, anyway, you just get those issues, and when they occur within your chain link fence, and that's what I always kind of termed it as, when you had a horrible event occur within your chain link fence, again, you really rely on your team. Um, you rely on the parents. You rely on that emotional support. And if you a simple Google of Clay Carmichael, you can see that I've been through all kinds of tragedies within a school community, and those are pretty tough. And the only way I've gotten through it was in my deep beliefs, my deep sincere beliefs. My family, I have a very strong family. Again, my wife Bridget, my daughters, and that sort of thing. And I have a strong family community, such as you and your family.
Sure.
And I'm able to get through events like that knowing that folks are out there. Then at the very same time, you have events like that, but then you have students that are going on and they're becoming medical doctors and attorneys, and they go into seminary, and so they're becoming spiritual leaders in the community. And I'm just so incredibly proud of that.
Sure.
I mean, it's one of those things that can almost bring me to tears, can bring me to tears if I talk about it too long. Because again, you balance out all those horrific events that can occur in big schools, especially, but you can also have those fantastic events and celebrations that occur, and you embrace those. And just always know the good Lord will never send you more than what you can handle.
Yes, sir. I think that speaks to your heart too, to be able to balance that and to see the weight of each, and to know to not weigh too much on those heavy ones, and to move to the lighter ones to bring that spirit back and uplift the school and get them back in the right mindset. I think that's hugely important, and you've done a terrific job of that.
Well, thank you. Well, you can't stop time.
No.
Time's going to keep moving. So you can choose whether to move to something positive or move to something negative. We always try to move to positive.
Awesome. Well, I just want to speak as a father that I appreciate everything you've done as a teacher, as a principal, as a man in our community, and all the things that you've taken and led your people and our people through. And I'm proud to have known you, and to say that you were my daughter's teacher, but also to say that I know Clay Carmichael, or Dr. C, as the kids call
Yes,
you.
sir.
It's an honor to know you, sir. And I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been through. And I got to ask, where you headed to next?
Okay. Well, I am. I've got a 9-year-old, and I'm 59 years old, and I have a very rated G life. So my wife is the same age I am. So I am headed to PTSO meetings and church celebrations,
Awesome.
just like everyone else. Career wise, I could see myself moving to the university level, into maybe even back into school administration and continuing teaching. So I see a mixture of it all.
Cool. We'll look forward to hearing and seeing where you head to next, and just know that you have a family of supporters behind you and us, but also the community as well. So
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir. Appreciate your
I'll
time.
call your friend. Thank you, Mr. Gilmore.
Yes, sir.
All right.